Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Alright. Let's go get some chemical and water.
But then it filled all that up.
Yeah, it just kept filling up. Okay.
But it did have some condensation around this
Right there.
port before.
Yep. Got it.
I took a wire and hooked it up in there.
Did you clean it? Did you see nothing came out that you know of?
Figured I'd just leave it off till somebody could come look at it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, I'm gonna monitor balance.
We got a drain problem.
Here's your mic, Chandler, if you want to
Okay.
say anything.
sorry.
I got it recording.
Okay. So the issue we're dealing with here today is that we've got some water in the drain pan. The trap and everything looks good. This is actually a fairly new system. Trap and everything looks really good, but it seems that something's causing it to leak water. There's only two other things, is that maybe this is backing up a little bit of water and somehow running back in that pan right there. I don't know if maybe water could somehow drip down here, hit the inside of that T and run back up. I don't think that could happen, but anything is possible. And then the other thing could be is that if there's a crack in the drain pan itself, it could leak a little water into the unit, or if that coil is freezing up for some reason, that could also cause a problem, or if it's just icing up just a little bit. So we want to monitor refrigerant levels, monitor all that, and see if there's anything that we see that's causing that, and fix it, whatever that is. All right, now what I want to watch is see if any water is somehow coming back. I forgot to bring my tools up here.
Can we go get it?
Yeah. You would?
Just won't leave it, Chandler.
That's fine. Suspicious of the drain pan. Seems like I'm gonna change that drain pan. These are the most puzzling ones ever. Big thing I need right now is my drill and my 5/16. Here. Okay, you can just set it back down over there right now. Bottom of there, and they're soaked. It tells me that drain pan is probably leaking. Oh man, lost a magnet. I think that, yeah, the drain pan is leaking. Makes me so irritated. No, it's done for. Yep. All right, so I'm here looking at the indoor unit here at David Lurie's, and we've got an issue with water getting into the pan. Not a lot. The drain is working fine. Doesn't seem to be any issues there, but just enough water getting in the pan or getting into the unit. You can see this is wet right here. It's dripping into there, and it's setting the switch right here off. So refrigerant levels are fine. This is working fine. There's no clogs in the drain. There's no excess water in the drain pan, so it's draining really well. So my final conclusion is simply that we've got a drain pan that must be cracked, and that is causing this excess water. It's not enough to cause a big problem, but it causes just enough of a problem. So we are going to replace that drain pan. oil right there. Yeah, this is oil right there. You can feel it. Yep. Here, I've got my 112 volts right there. So that means I'm getting power all the way from here. Now, the way furnaces work is they bring the power in and they run it through what we call a door switch right here. And when it comes through the door switch, it's designed so that the door has to be on in order for the furnace to engage. So what we're going to end up needing to do is actually get a new door switch to go in here, which is actually not a big deal, but it's not something I carry on my truck. So I'm going to just pull it out, and I'm just going to take and do like that right there, and we're going to come up with a way to join that together safely until we can get a replacement door switch, which I'll probably use. I'll use one of these right here. I like these butt connectors right here. I call them butt connectors, but the one plugs into the other. But I'll bring my high voltage side into this one, because if someone unplugs it, that way you don't have a live bare metal end hanging out there, because this is the side that's always live, as opposed to when you pull that one out, it's no longer live on that side. So we're going to do something that's maybe stupid, but I do this kind of stuff. I don't recommend that you do this if you're not. Yeah, do not do this at home. And you probably shouldn't do this even if you're an experienced HVAC tech. Maybe you shouldn't do it, or if you don't have a lot of experience. So that's right now, that's got 115 volts on it. So as I hold my plier, I'm making sure that I don't touch it with my hand. But now I've got a little bit of a problem because that is not cutting my stuff cleanly. So I'm just going to take and, so as long as I don't touch any metal, it's safe. So I'm going to spin that around, and then I'm going to take and see if I can fit this down inside of there. And now I've got that safely capped right there. And now I'm going to take and do my crimp. I like to use, so my connection is good, I think, as I can tell. Okay, so that's technically live. So if I check that once again, just let it hang in there like that and check it to ground. See, I've got 112 volts on that still. If I were to touch that to ground accidentally, that would possibly trip the breaker if it's working properly. Now we know this side here doesn't have any power on it. And then we're going to put our exposed end on this side, and we're going to repeat that crimp right here. So crimp, oh. One thing about using a lineman is if you crimp too far, you can actually cut through something. Okay, and now plug that together. And we already have a status light down here we can see. And if we go right here, we've got 106 volts there. This is interesting. Now we've got our 23 volts coming out. And if I come down here to my connections, I now have, let's find my common. That's my common right there. So just check to R. Oops. My R terminal, I have 23 volts. Between my C and my G, I have 23 volts. And my Y signal, I'm not getting a Y, oh no, that's my W, I'm sorry. This is my Y signal. And I'm getting 23 volts in my Y signal. So probably, we don't know for sure, I can actually take and stick my hand up here See, I can already feel refrigerant flowing. So most likely the outdoor unit is operating right now. So simple repair, electrical repair. It's still not a good idea to, this is a temporary fix, this is not a permanent fix. It is very important that you have the proper door switch in there, because if you run this unit in heating without it being, without the doors on it, which you'll be able to do now, that could pose a safety hazard to someone or something, you know, to someone essentially. Why that door switch failed, I don't know. That's kind of an odd one. But we're going to continue to check the system out. It's one thing on repairs like this, it's easy to do. It's even easy for me to do. Like today, it'd be tempting to just say, oh, you're good to go, and keep on moving on. And in some cases that might be okay, but in this case I really need to probably check the system out and make sure that there's no other issues. There probably isn't, but in the middle of the summer it's always a good idea to discipline yourself to check everything out so that you can ensure that it is performing as well as it possibly can, and if there are other issues, that you discover them while you're here. When you've been somewhere and you're not thorough, and they call you back on a technically like a callback, you lose credibility as a technician and as a company. And so it's important for you to be able to be credible, and maximize potential is to be thorough. I've even caught myself a couple times in the last couple days not being as thorough as I should be. So it happens. So now on my company cam, I'll take me a little video and explain. Okay, so upon arrival we found this door switch right here that should be here. It's laying on the floor right here. This door switch was messed up for some reason. We're not sure why, but it wasn't engaging and making continuity across these two poles right here when it was engaged. So it was keeping the furnace from operating. So we just put us a butt splice on there, taped it up good. Does not need to stay that way permanently. We need to fix this with a door switch, so we need to get the model and serial number and order that. And it looks like the model and serial number is probably up in there somewhere, or somewhere like that. But anyways, I'll figure it out and get one, hopefully get one ordered. Alright, so I'm uploading that, and we understand what was done, what needed to be done. Let's see if I can find the actual model and serial number. Maybe it's on one of these panels. I think it is. For some reason, furnaces never put their model numbers on the outside of the unit. So you always have to kind of hunt for them. I still can't believe it's not right here. Turn my flashlight on. Doesn't look like it's...
This is a different thing right here.
That's the coil right there. Coils, they're always on the outside, but furnaces, they tend to be on the inside. I'm wondering if it's up in there. All right, here it is. See if I can get it. See if I can get cleaned up enough to be able to read it. Looks like it's it right there. So you gotta love having a smartphone. Yeah, so it's right. It's almost rubbed off. Oh, it's got plastic over it. Or something. Man, I can't really read the thing. I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't. Okay. Probably I can look up most any Goodman model number and get that door switch. So if I'm not able to get to it easily. Okay, so we're gonna put our little cover here back on. Push that neutral wire back up in there. And that's how you do a repair with everything live. Now this is one that would be interesting to check static pressure on.
How in the world would you'd have to do it up there?
Well, I just drill me a hole and put it right there. And then put one down there. And that would be it.
Would it be different from the air handler? Static pressure or reading?
No, it's the same. The only thing that's different is that you can measure more places. So you can measure on static pressure on a furnace, you can measure here. You can measure right after the fan before the heat exchanger, so you can pop a hole somewhere in the side of the furnace. Then you can measure between the furnace and the coil, and then you can measure on the other side of the coil. And the reason for that is that you're looking for where your pressure drop happens when you do that. Do you have pressure drop, from across the heat exchanger, or do you have it across the coil? Because now you got more components. On a traditional air handler, typically your coil is where you would have your pressure drop, so you just always check on either side. So you kind of want to know where my pressure drop is, so that basically you can pick up on a restriction. So if you've got a coil that's really dirty, you would be able to pick up on that if you've checked before and after it. All right, let's put the doors back on. Straighten this because I fell, it dinged it up. Okay. All right. Let's take it. They're not bad. Well, but they're not dirty. I mean, that one's not dirty. I looked at it just now because of that.
Well, yeah. I was just wondering if they wanted to change.
Well, he just said he thought it looked bad, but it don't look bad to me. So, okay, there we are. So now we just need to check the outside unit and see how it's doing. My meter and my tape back together. And we need to take this there we go. Let's get all these pieces. Alright, let's go check our outdoor unit out and see how it's doing. Sure makes a bad racket. It's really no faster to go through there than it is to go through the front door. You know?
I don't know why you unlocked it.
I was thinking there might be a side door like on that building right there. It'd be hot out here. Gotta love how they're all stuck down in here. Come on, baby. Oh. No good way to get down there. 18 degrees of delta T, so that's the difference between our return and our supply. And now I'm looking at, oh, I need to update my pressure there, but I'm running at 56.9, 26.8 degrees subcool, but I want to be checking my superheat, so I'm going to make sure my gauge over here is linked up. Okay, so now my gauge is up online. So we're running at 41.9 degrees of superheat, which may come down some yet. My guess is that the system may not be matched properly, but it looks like it should be. I don't know. Anyways, we'll screenshot that. Screenshot this. These pressures don't look that great, or these refrigerant data doesn't really look that great, but when I look right here, we've got great delta T. So it's one of those things where you just kind of, if it's working and they don't have any issues, you roll with it. Do I?
It's not broken.
Kind of, you know. I mean, if they don't have complaints about it, it's not that you want to stick your head in the sand and say, hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, sometimes people are happy running it the way it is. So you just have to fill that out, and you don't want to be the guy who comes in every time and says, oh, you might have cancer. That kind of approach, you know. If there is something that preventive that can be done, look at that, man. Somehow I got how'd I get a briar clear up in there? All right. We're gonna monitor some amperage draw. See how it's doing here. So these are actually three-phase units, so they don't have any, they have no, what am I looking for? Capacitor for the compressor. So there's no capacitor to check on the compressor, but the fan motors are still single phase. So they do have a capacitor for that. So we're going to check the capacitor for the fan. It's 1.41. Now we're going to check the voltage across it. And that's 277, let's say. And we're going to do some quick math. Divided by 277, it says we're at 13.4, and that is a, well, I'm not sure what size it is. Can't hardly see. So turn the power off. Loosen that clamp just a little bit. And it is a, it's a 5UF. So something ain't right. I have to double check that. So maybe I did my math wrong. So let's do this. We got the power off. Okay, we got no power. That's good. So we're gonna take and unplug purple, the orange, and the brown. And we're gonna just quick check it manually like we do sometimes. So, oh. Let's pull it out of there and see if we can get a better reading, because now, one time it read way high, one time it read a little low. Let's just see. Now it's not reading at all. Sometimes you got to dig in beneath some rust if there is some. So 2.3, and it's supposed to be a 5. So that could be a problem. That could cause that motor to run really, really hot, maybe. So we're going to get us a new 5. We're going to make sure that that is what it needs, is a 5. Let's see if we can see on the side of the motor. Most of the time your motor will say on it what size capacitor it needs. We want to here if we need to. So out that comes. This is when you get to do yard care. Didn't know we were in the lawn care business. Look at that big old root. At night. I bet somebody would like to have them. Okay, that's probably enough for now. Get that little white fence out of here. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Now, we got plenty of room to work for the most part. Let's get this last one out. And why stop there? All right. Yeah, it was on. Yeah, it's on. All right. Still have a nice friendly leaf in my face. That out of there too. There we go. Yep. I see a problem already. So dive in here with your camera and see if you can spot a problem. Come right into the control panel there. Do you see any problem? Yep. There you go. So if you noticed, it was, you'd hear something go, and the fan would shut off, and then for a little bit, and then it would come back on. And that, for whatever reason, that must be this wire is causing this to do exactly that. So being as we have spotted something that's definitely electrical, we're going to start with fixing that, and then we're going to hook up our gauges and everything. So power is off. We do still have 24 volts here. We want to be very careful when you still have 24 volts that anything you're doing here, you don't happen to ground out this side of the contactor so you won't short out any 24 24 volts on the transformer. So we're going to take and we're going to flip this wire back to a good wire. Like that right there. And then we're going to take and pull this capacitor. Capacitor. What time is it? We're right on schedule. Alright, let's see here. Sometimes when a wire burns off like that, the capacitor is still fine. But sometimes when it burns off like that, it's not fine. So that's our Herm. One thing, if you do unplug a capacitor and you don't know where everything goes, you can always trace this wire back to your contactor. That's always going to be your common. On your fan motor, in this case, your purple is your common, your brown is your capacitor, and then you've got a yellow that goes to your Herm. So you can kind of figure it out in your head if you know those things. So brown went there, yellow went here, and purple and red. So now we're going to see if our capacitor survived. So that's 39.69, and looks like either we're not gonna. Yeah, see, this is what we run into. Is that? So it is still reading good, but here's what you run into. See, that right there is loose. Maybe that wouldn't be a problem. But it is a 40 plus 5 and it is reading okay. So, I'm concerned. See, now we're getting a funny reading. See, I did get a 4.96. So, this is a tough decision because really, I don't feel comfortable. This capacitor is technically still working, but because of that melting happening right there, like that's weak. That plug could pull out of there anytime, whereas these are tight right here, real tight. So we're going to have to just recommend replacement of the capacitor in this case, even though the values are up to par. So let's get our quote put together for that. Now, in a deal like this, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and do the repair. Let's see here. I like to go ahead and do the repair because then I know everything is working and I can check refrigerant levels and make sure nothing else is needed. And then I can make one trip back to the customer instead of having to go back and say, oh, you need a capacitor. Okay, now I have the system running. Oh, it needs a little bit of refrigerant. Those kind of things. All right, so let's find our capacitor. All right, so as a technician, when you have something like a simple repair, like a capacitor or something, if you don't have a helicopter client, I never knew what a helicopter customer client was, but somebody who hovers over you. If you don't have that, and let's say they, are inside the home, or maybe they're not present, go ahead and make the repair. Not without their approval necessarily, but go ahead and make the repair so that you can determine if there's no other issues, refrigerant, maybe there's another electrical issue, and also it allows you to look for other preventive problems. So, because if you replace the capacitor and then you find that there's something else wrong in the system, you've got to go back to them the second time and say, oh, we did this repair, but now we got to do this. You can't do this on every single type of repair. Capacitors, contactors, small electrical repairs, you typically can do it pretty easily on those. But always be sure that when you go present the repair, then you're not presenting it as an invoice. Okay, I've done the work, here's what you owe me. Don't present it that way. Present it, here's what needs to be done. Even though you've done it, you've made sure everything's working fine, maybe you have the unit running. But just say, this is what you owe me for the service call. This is what I've done so far, and here's what's needed to fix the present problem or the most pressing issue, and then here's your options to upgrade to fix other preventive issues. And you've already got the repair out of the way. You're making one trip to the client, you get their approval, and maybe you can go ahead and process payment right then if you want to, but then you can say, they give you the approval, you go to the system, double check everything, button everything up, put the covers back in place, put your tools away, and then go back and finish up the call. Let's shoot a little something. So when you're replacing a part, it's a really good idea as a technician to write the name of the client where the part went and date it. So today is the 5th, so 07/05/2023. And when you go to restock the part, then write that on the list so we know where that part went. And put the old part back in the box. That way, and you set that in the back of your truck so you know what needs to be restocked on your truck. Okay, everything is looking great. Hey, it's amazing. This system is older. I don't even know how old it is for sure. I know the furnace upstairs is like, it's ancient. It's got to be 30 years old probably at least. The air conditioner here doesn't say a manufacture date on it, but it's an Amana, and I would just guess it's probably about 15 years old, but this thing is working like a champ.
Yeah, I was about to say when I came here, I couldn't believe that it's that old, she said.
Yeah, it's definitely very old, but it's working good. Working really good. Some people think that's nasty to do that, but I wear gloves, so it doesn't really matter.
Why do you do that?
If that core right there has a leak in it, you could lose all your refrigerant. So right here, you got to always leak check these cores. If you don't, you could lose all the refrigerant in the system, and then you've got, you know, a system with no refrigerant in it. So that's a big problem. Let's quick brush out this panel. There we go. Need to get me a new brush. Alright, so I'm going to quick shoot me a little video here just talking about what we did. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted. Alright, so here at Martha Leopard's, on arrival, found that right here we had a wire that was burnt off. In the process of diagnosing it, discovered that this terminal right here was extremely, well, it's very loose, as you can see. The capacitor would actually read the correct values, but I was concerned that if I just fixed the wire, that it would cause a bigger issue, you know, down the road. She'd end up needing a capacitor anyways. So I made the call that we're just going to condemn the capacitor, and so we put a new capacitor on and fixed the wire. And I talked to her a little bit about, she has talked about wanting a new system maybe. Not right now, she wants to run through the summer, so we've added her to the prospect alert form list, and we're going to follow up with her closer to in the winter time to see if she's ready to move forward with the new system. Refrigerant levels are great. You can see all that in the screenshots. Temperature differential is great. She did add a new attic stairway, access in her bedroom that's easier to get up through from, you know, up through the ceiling into the attic. So that's very helpful. And she wants to move her indoor unit to in a closet in the future when she does replace her system. So we're not going to be putting it back in the attic. She wants it in a closet. So actually, I think Brian did it, but on this unit about 3 months ago, the compressor leads that run from this control panel into the compressor, one of those leads or some of those leads burnt off at the compressor. So he had to put a compressor lead terminal kit on it. That's a sign of a system getting older. I don't have an exact technical definition of why it happens, or explanation, but when you see an older compressor that's just, the system's getting older, it will burn a lead off. But many times if you put a term lock on it, see pictured, Google term lock lead. If you put a term lock on it, it has an Allen screw that tightens down over that terminal, and it's not just a plug-on terminal. See that pictured, the difference, and that term lock lead will stay on there forever, just about, or at least the rest of the life of the system. So, and sometimes when those leads burn off, they can actually burn off part of the spade where the old terminal would plug onto, that spade terminal. It will burn off that completely, but you'll still have a peg that's sticking out, and you can put that term lock on there and tighten it down. So term locks are the way to go for compressor replacement. When you're replacing a terminal lead on a compressor and you're trying to make it so that it'll last. All right. That screw doesn't fit. All right, it's 9:45. Alrighty. Take all this back to this truck. And do a little bit of organizing. There we go. As a technician, it's so important to have an organized truck. It can make your day go smoothly. Recently, I was telling Cliff that I wanted everything cleaned up and that I liked it all cleaned up when I was really busy, and he told me that that's just your way of trying to control things when you feel out of control, because he says that's something you can control. And I realized that that is so true. When we're working, we can feel overwhelmed at times. We can feel a little out of control. We all have different coping mechanisms for that. Mine is trying to make sure everything is as organized as possible. My excuse for that is that, or my reasoning is that you can think and be more efficient. Sometimes I get a little OCD about it, but it still helps you be more efficient to have things organized. All right, let's go collect our money and finish with the call. Let's leave a here. She might be a good fit for this. Oh, hold on. Let me grab Spanner over here. There would like to be an opportunity to refer to them. Okay, so we're looking at a project here today that is a commercial building. You can see that the construction is red iron steel. And this particular building in this situation had an air conditioning system right over here. It was the indoor unit was located about right here. And they were piping the air up and over the suspended ceiling. You can see all those wire ties that are hanging from the ceiling. Those are what held the suspended ceiling in place. So they ran this ductwork over top, and then they had these takeoffs that came out and went into the ceiling. What we're looking at doing here now is putting an AC in for this space, because the one that, when this space was taken over by the current owner, it does not have obviously any air conditioning. And if we go on the roof, see pictured, there's photos and company cam of all that. There's the ACs on the roof have been vandalized. So the actual outdoor units are not functional either. So for a space like this, a lot of the time when people come in, they want to put, ducting in. They right away want to duct everything. And that is fine when you need it. But in this particular situation, you can see there's work tables here. This was actually used as a woodworking shop of some sort at some point. And it's going to be adopted into some sort of a light-duty manufacturing facility. This is a wide open space. There's no reason to have all this ducting. And in this case, this building, I think it's only 70 feet wide approximately. There's no reason why you cannot take and put an air handler in the corner over here. Let's just use this for example. Either in the corner in a vertical position, standing up, or hang it from the ceiling, from the red iron ceiling rafters here. Can't remember what those are called. Z's, I think they call them, because they're in a Z formation. But you can hang it even and just blow the air across the room, put a 4-inch filter on it, and not have any ducting. You technically are going to work a lot more efficiently, in my opinion. You're not restricting it, and people are going to be working and they want to feel the air movement. You're going to be restricting that air movement if you use that ducting right there, or if you put ducting on it. You could put a short section on it, just letting it blow out the end, but there's no reason to put a whole long run of ductwork and have vents coming off on either side. But commercial settings, many times they want to put in, ductwork like that right there. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it restricts the airflow. And I have done this successfully. I can't even count on my hand how many times. We've done this a lot. So I've done it in cabinet shops. I've done it in a couple, I can't remember all the kitchens. There's another one, like restaurants where you need to move a lot of air in a kitchen. It works very well just to move the air without any ducting attached. So it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're concerned about noise or air movement, then it's not a good idea. You definitely want some ducting to slow that process down, reduce the air noise, and slow the actual feel of the volume of the air. You may still be moving the same amount of air, but it'll just slow it down. If your only point is to cool a space, then there's no reason not to there's no reason not to try it without ducting first. For sure, if you can add it easy enough later. So another thing we're looking at over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this as well. There's not much light in this space. If you take my phone and use it as a light, I don't know if it'll help the camera or not, but you can see we've got ducting. We've got an old furnace in line here. This is an old gas heater. And then the ductwork goes down, supply ducting, goes down and into the ground right here. So, and then we've got the actual air handler unit right here that looks to be like a 10-ton air handler of some sort, and then the return comes in this wall. In my opinion, seriously over-engineered. I mean, this just is not necessary. But this is what people use. And then in this space around the corner here, you'll see, let's go forward another room and look. But right here, we'll see that you've got vents coming up through the floor, and then they're in the wall over there. A little bit difficult maybe to see that, but that's where all the vents are feeding from the floor, coming up through the floor and feeding in through the wall like this. So somebody thought they were some talented engineer of some sort that was going to design some sophisticated system, and all they'd had to do was just pipe the ductwork over top of the ceiling. Simple enough. No reason to put it in the ground and in concrete. And you can see another vent over there. Just seriously over-engineered. Anyways, we run into this all the time in commercial spaces where they over-engineer. It's just the bottom line. And then to fix this unit is much more money than if you would have a simple light commercial style unit in place. And rather than have just one big system that does everything, you could have multiple units. You could have, let's just use for example, let's say the space requires 10 ton. And we would take and split it up into 2 5-tons. Well, your initial investment for 2 5-tons actually will be less than for 1 10-ton, because you're using more of a light duty style system, and that commercial system is going to be built a little more heavy duty. It's going to not be quite as efficient, and you're going to invest more money repairing and maintaining that unit than if you had 2 5-tons. You still have the same amount of capacity, you just are using a different style system. So your installation costs are less, and your maintenance costs could potentially be less. And if you have a breakdown, you have some redundancy. Chances are high that both systems, if you do 2 5-tons, are not going to break down at the same time. You'll still have 5-ton. Whereas a 10-ton, if a fan belt or fan motor breaks, you don't have anything. You're stuck until it gets fixed. So it's important to think through, how am I using the space? It's not that that makes sense every single time, but it's important to think through, how am I using the space, and what are my options? Like, what's my initial investment? But then what is my long-term investment? Repair costs, maintenance costs, and so forth. You're gonna have to do repairs and maintenance at some point. It's just a matter of when. So it's a little bit about commercial and some of the things that we see. This is mainly what I'm talking about today. It applies to light commercial. When you start getting into true commercial buildings that are high-rise buildings, or maybe they're 4 stories or something like that, then these commercial systems make sense. They're going to run a lot, they're going to get a lot of use. That's a whole different design process, by all means. But like commercial spaces, many times there's somebody that's over-engineering them. Supply right there. All right, so let's measure this one in the kitchen. Measure. All right. Alright, so that one is alright, so let's get my phone out. New project. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's check. Sure don't put this thing in the fan. Now let's go back here, see how much air we're getting. There we go. Ooh. There we go. Need this thing to have a handle. So this room's getting about 92 CFM. Back out of here. Just back up as I walk in. There we go, in right here. A little tight. Alright, there we go. Alright. And then, right here. Oh, 55 CFM, 57, 67, 69, 73. Air doesn't even feel that very cool either. Make sure that it's, just gotta make sure the system's turned down so it'll run. All right, let's put our, where'd you set those sensors down at, Rio, or do you have them right there? Okay, perfect. Let's measure some splits. Return. Let's check this one right here. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe next week or the next or the next? Man, it's hard to say. Maybe just let me know what day you're thinking. Typically Mondays and Fridays can be busy. Thursdays I'm gone all day. So that leaves Tuesday or Wednesday of any given week is typically a good time. But yeah, just let me know how soon you need them looked at and we'll make accommodation. Might just need to schedule me an appointment to be around so I can meet up with you then. The other thing is, Tom, if you still come to Augusta frequently, I could meet you in Augusta at the shop there. Either one of that would work, so you wouldn't have to come all the way to Rennes if you didn't want to.
So
15.2. Go ahead.
You wanna go meet with that lady we met with today again next week? Or other projects? Or?
Possibly. I might not meet with her again in person right away. But, I mean, we might meet up at some point. What are you thinking?
I think that'd be decent. I mean, if she has other commercial projects.
Oh, she's got some more coming out.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
that'd be a good chance to do some.
Yeah, she's got some more coming out. Definitely. 13.7. 8. I was trying to remember if I have a short ladder in my truck or not. You don't have a step stool. Oh, you got a ladder right there.
Yeah.
Because I might want to get in that, poke my head up into the attic and have a look at what's there here in a bit. where that pull down, or that, it's not a pull down, it's a pop top. So it's interesting. Some of these vents are reading, let's see if I have all my screenshots here. If I go to, let's see, where'd all my screenshots go? There they are. So like one of those vents was 14.1, 15.2. One of them was only 13.3. Right there, it was 2 degrees less, which is not a big deal, but it is interesting. It means that there could be more significant leakage. That one's got 16 degrees, but it's closer to the unit. The unit's right down the hall there, and that one's fairly close. That one's not too far away, but it is a little more distant. The one I checked earlier would be a little further down that side, so let's see if there's one in here. No, there's no vent in here at all. Okay. Okay. Let's check this one. See what we got here. So this would be the furthest one of all of them. And it's running about 15.9, 16 degrees. So that's good. Nothing wrong with that. Alright. Poke my head up outside, or in the attic, I mean.
Can you help with that?
Don't think so. I think I have a pretty good idea about how to use it. Thank you, though, very much. Oops. Now let's go. Go in the dark hole. I think I actually extended my ladder a little bit too much. Do what?
Could you even get in the attic?
Yeah. Get in that. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I see the problem already. Alright, so this is pretty typical. So I'm just going to shoot this footage with my...
Okay.
Grab my... Come on, where's my current appointment? Getting lost in the company feed. Come on. Oh wow, Dustin is making progress big time. So I got his outdoor unit set. Wow. He's not messing around. James McInnes. Where'd my John ball go? There we go, right there. Alright, so we're going up in the attic. I don't have my flashlight on though. There we go. So we're going up in the attic. We're looking at 2 rooms here. We've got, this room is complaining of not enough air, and this room's complaining of not enough air, right there. If we go up in the attic, we'll see a big reason why neither room is getting enough air. If you look right here, that's coming off that plenum, one duct to those 2 different vents. So what could be a possible solution is to bring another duct off of there and let it come directly to this one, and let that one go directly to that one. And you would immediately get more air into the system. You can see all these duct lines are branching off like that, so it's not uncommon to see that. Now the next thing is the outside seeing. Let's stop this and we'll talk about that. Alright, so the next thing is every time the grass is cut, we smell it inside the house. That could come from a couple different things. One is that this is not completely sealed off right there, so we could be sucking some air from the attic, and that smell could be coming through the vents in the gables, possibly, or it could come through the eave vent here. But this attic, what it needs is it needs some ventilation. It does not have any. Just a fan on either end moving air through it would be a tremendous help. All right. Now, hand me one of my sensors on the return down there. I want to see how hot that attic is up there. All right, let's just stick it up here and see. It's kind of interesting to see that. $84, $86. Oh. 85. So it says it's only 94, 95, 6. Definitely not as hot as what I thought it would be. 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 101. Yep. So it looks like it's around 101. Somewhere up there. All right. Okay, let's do a quick. Take that. Let's go ahead and put this back right here. Now, I don't know if we can do this for sure or not, but I'm going to try. Let's see. Oh, I had the other one in my back pocket. Take this and put this back over here. All right. Perfect. You have it leaning against the wall a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Now, let's see if we can do this or not. I think this is going to be a challenge. I think if I do it like this, I can do it. So let's leave this on.
Want me to turn off the fan?
I'm gonna see how close it is to the vent. Yeah, we need to turn that one off.
Just the other side. One more or something? Please, close.
That's all right. My wife is at home, is a full-time housewife, and we don't even dust ours.
Oh. Buddy, no.
All right, so 85, let's say. Let's go with 120.
No, buddy.
205 plus 305, 325. So 325 plus 40. 365. $365 plus plus 100, 465, so 460. See if we can get in this bathroom right here. Yeah, it's got one. My flow hood won't even fit in there. Door's too narrow. Unless I take, I don't know. Let's just estimate that that one's probably putting out about 50. So 465, 460. Plus 90 is 460 plus 90 is can't get in there either. 550. So 550, say 100 between those two, that's 650. $650. $650 plus let's go with 65. 710. No, 715. 715. All right. And then 715 plus that room right there is another, probably another 50, so 10 plus 50. See if we can. Measure it very well. It's about 800 CFM. So let's see here. What are we getting? $3 All right. Go grab my static pressure pro kit. His love shall be mercy, such love I can't explain. All right, so we're doing a static pressure test kit here, or pressure test. Static pressure test. Get my probes out. See which one's which. This is my supply. Put that one on right there. This is my return. That one on right there.
Indoor unit's not that.
Right. Or what?
So would you ever have to go in the attic?
In this case?
Just because there's nothing up there.
There's ductwork up there. Is the only thing right now. Yeah. Okay. Can go. Now, see my temp sensors here. So, static pressure looks good. No big problem. Stick that in there and see what we're getting. Oh, that's the return one. It's not one at all. Put this one down here. What's happening, John?
Sorry about the mess.
Oh, this ain't messy.
I got so much inventory. You know I got that wreck.
Which wreck?
You didn't know I got another wreck again?
When?
2 weeks ago?
No, I didn't know about that. When that happened?
Yeah, again, not my fault. Someone slammed into me going down the interstate.
Oh my word.
Everybody came to a sudden stop in front of me.
Yeah.
Just seen that. Come here, Wes.
You guys are trying to die early.
Yeah, I know. Luckily the gas is off. We're seasoning
Well,
the gas.
It's only going to do it when you run the furnace.
Yeah, that's
you just
what I'm
need
saying.
that
It's
reducer
off.
replaced.
Our gas is seasonal. You see that, Wes?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I just seen that.
All right, this reducer right here needs to be replaced right there.
Yeah, I just seen that.
Okay, so there's a couple explanations for the smell of grass.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them are correct.
Yeah.
But if you look, this right here is not super well sealed up around here.
Yeah.
And so what could be happening is you've got, vents in the gable,
Yeah.
and you've got a roof vent as
Yeah.
well. And what we see happen sometimes is this return is open
Yeah.
to right there. If you stick your hand right there,
No, yeah, I
you
definitely
can feel
know,
air
yeah.
moving. Just stick your 2 fingers down in there and just.
Yeah.
So
I
it could
see
be
what
it's
you're
somehow maybe that smell is coming through the vents
saying. Okay.
in the attic, and maybe
Coming
it's
down.
being sucked down from the attic
Yeah.
through there. That's
I
just
see.
kind of a random explanation. Now,
Makes
will you
sense.
stop it if you see all that out? Possibly,
Get Buddy,
maybe.
Wes.
I don't know. Who knows?
No, that makes sense. Have you
So,
checked the fence?
Yeah, I checked that vent and that vent. Those are the two that I think are the problem.
Yeah.
Is what you were telling me.
Excuse the mess. My son's in there. In there. I
That
haven't
one
looked.
splits off of the one in the living room
Okay.
and this one.
'Cause this
There's a
is
lot of
cold as hell in there.
well, there's not much load in that room.
Okay.
So like this room
Plus it's
here,
a pigsty.
see how this room is. Well, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But you see how this room's got 2 outside walls and you got 2 windows.
Okay.
So you've got more load
see
here.
what you mean,
Plus, you have quite a bit of computer equipment. I don't know how much heat it actually puts off, but it
Yeah.
does put off some. So that could contribute some as well. Maybe not
Okay.
100%, but it could contribute some. So
Makes sense. I didn't even think about
what
that.
I would recommend, and the solution I'm going to give you for here, if you want to consider it, is that you would have a duct come off of that unit where the plenum comes up
Yeah.
and come directly to this room, and then let the other duct go directly to your room.
That'll help out a lot.
And then that way you're getting more air
That's a big
into this. So you would be able to get ducts directly
Let
to
me
there.
know
Okay,
price.
well, we'll figure that out. That's number one, figured that out, or come up with that. Second is I went around and just measured all the airflow coming out of the
Yeah.
vents. You've got a 3-ton system.
That was put in 6 years ago.
You had it put in
Yeah. Before,
Okay.
before I moved in.
before you moved in.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I was staying at Mom's house
Mhm.
for a few nights,
Okay.
and it was previous people. They had someone. I don't think he was licensed, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because he was working somewhere else. He was coming here at Graveyard.
Yep.
He was working all night, and
To get it put in.
I was sleeping on my mom's couch
Okay.
for
Got
a few
it.
nights before we moved in. This is 6-7 years ago. It was
Okay.
brand new put in.
Okay. So it looks like it's, according to the coil, I haven't looked at the outdoor unit for sure,
Yeah,
but it looks like
yeah.
it's about a 3-ton system.
Okay.
And you should be getting, I'm going to use the term called buckets of air.
Okay.
Out of all the vents combined, you should be getting around, I would think it would be good if you get about 1,000 to 1,200 buckets of air.
Okay.
You're only getting about 8 to 850.
Okay. Okay.
So if you do the percentage on that,
I see.
you know,
it's
you're-
working harder.
you're probably at about 70 to 80% efficient
Is that the ducks up there?
with your ductwork the way it is.
I see.
I'm
I
not
see.
telling you to replace it.
No, no,
What's your
no.
electric bill though?
I don't know because I'm on flat bill.
What is that though?
149.
If you're flat rate at 149, you're going to have a hard time improving that.
It dropped. It was 159.
Okay.
And I just got a letter this month saying
Yeah.
you've been lowered.
And so you
$10.
keep it on like 72, 70, 68.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll pay the bill, man.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's-
trying to. But you're
night,
keeping
at
it
night
low.
I drop it down. During the day, realistically, it depends how hot it is.
Yep.
71. Sometimes I put it up to 72.
Okay, got it.
At night, I'll drop that sucker down.
Mhm.
After 10, I'll drop it down to 66.
Okay.
And 'cause I'm fat.
No, that's okay. I'm not contesting
Yeah, yeah.
that at all. I'm just trying to get a sense of
Yeah,
what you're trying to
realistically,
achieve. So in that respect, your electric bill's not bad
No, no.
at all.
Surprisingly, no.
So the money that you would invest in redoing your ducting, if you were to say, hey, I want to redo it, would be only for comfort. It would not be for
That's
energy
exactly
savings.
Because I
But I
think
have-
because I'm gassed during the winter and
Okay.
it switches.
I've got another one for you, though, that you might want to consider. Your attic up there right now, really, you've got a lot of shade, I think, here.
Yeah.
So your attic doesn't get as hot as it could.
Yeah.
If you ever cut any trees down, you're going to have a little trouble, maybe.
We only have this. The only tree I'm keeping that one.
Okay.
We had to cut that one down. Out
Yeah.
back.
So the other thing is you've got these gable vents. I checked the temperature up there. It's about 100 degrees,
Okay.
which isn't bad. But you've got these gable vents on either end.
Yeah.
And for not a lot of money, you could go to Lowe's and you could get an electrician to put you a circuit in on either end
Okay.
and get you a fan that pulls air in
One out the other.
and one that pushes
I
out.
never knew about that.
And just get some, you've got your eave vents,
Yeah.
right? That's, I mean, your roof vent
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah.
But just get air moving down through that attic across.
That makes sense.
And that'll help alleviate some of that heat that is building up in there.
Why is he recording? I'm just wondering.
He's videos all everything I do. Not everything
That's
I do.
cool though.
We got
But
like a YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube
and
channel.
all the social
I need
media.
to follow you, man.
Yeah. I need. What do we need? We need 351 subscribers instead of 350.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I heard about it, but I never looked for it. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I like that. Yeah.
so we just need to move some air.
I think
It's
that's
just
a great
that's just
idea.
a small
That might be
idea.
something I can do probably.
Oh yeah. No, it's not
Yeah.
because
that
you've
might be
got
something-
the vents in either side.
Yeah.
You just need to get the fans.
do it at graveyard. Do it at night.
Yeah. Do it at night,
Yeah.
and you can get Wes to crawl up in there for
well,
you.
trust. That's what I'm going to do. That's what he does. Throw him a bone.
Throw him under the bus.
Love you, Wes. But you know
All
it's
right.
true. Yeah. That,
So-
I'm glad I just caught that.
Yeah, and that's something if you want to do, you could do that
That's
yourself
easy to
too.
fix,
Because you
yeah.
just got to pop these screws out.
Yeah,
I can
that's
get that
easy to
piece
fix.
for you. You can put it in there. The other thing I was checking was just the blood pressure of your system, and it's
Okay.
actually relatively good. It's
Okay.
not way out of whack, as near as I can tell. I think your biggest issues are. I think you're right. This was kind of hacked in here a little bit. If you
Yeah.
stick your hand up in here,
You can feel
you can feel a little bit of cool air losing a little bit here. Whoops! I just need you fix it now. But you can, if you stick your hand up there, you can feel a little bit of cool air leaking.
Yeah.
This right here was measuring the temperature across the unit,
Okay.
and you're getting about right here. We're getting about 18 to 20 degrees of difference. So from the return
Wow.
to the supply, when we measure to the return from the return here
So there.
to a vent, the best we're getting on this end is about 16 to 18 degrees, and down that room there we're only getting 13 to 14.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of temperature drop
Yeah,
when the duct
yeah.
when it gets in the ductwork and leaks out.
Goes out.
So you could have a little leakage in there,
Okay.
dissipate, and maybe it's not insulated as well as it should be.
That makes sense.
So-
Okay.
Not telling you have a bad system.
Yeah, yeah, no.
By any
I'm-
means.
I'm on your page.
There's
I'm
probably
on
some
your
things
page.
that you could do to improve it. The question always is what are you going to do with this home long term?
Yeah.
Are you going to be here
Well,
for the next 20
I'm-
years?
I'm definitely thinking about moving within the
Okay.
next couple of years.
Are you going to
Me
keep
and
the
my son-
house or sell it?
That's discussion.
Keep it for rental. It's
Yeah.
a perfect rental house.
It's definitely in discussion. So I mean, we got several other homes out here that are doing the same thing.
Okay. All right.
So definitely
Perfect.
things in this. But we've been here. Wes was in 7th grade, 8th, or 9th grade.
Oh, really?
What
Oh, wow.
grade were you in, Wes? Starting 9th.
Got
He
it.
graduated 2 years ago, so 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like the yard the most.
Well, yeah, it's a nice place. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good location. Nothing
So,
wrong with the location.
yeah,
So I'm going to put a proposal together for you
Please
to,
do.
to do
Please
that,
do.
fix that vent.
I think
And,
that's one thing I want to move forward with.
I'll also I'll try to put together a report of everything.
Let's talk. Is he still recording?
Can
you
yeah,
pause it
he
real
can
quick?
pause it. Go ahead.
I don't know if he's in there.
That
haven't
one
looked.
splits off of the one in the living room
Okay.
and this one.
'Cause this
There's a
is
lot of,
cold as hell in there.
well, there's not much load in that room.
Okay.
So like this room
Plus it's
here,
a pigsty.
see how this room is, well, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But you see how this room's got 2 outside walls and you got 2 windows.
Okay.
So you've got more load
see
here.
what you mean.
Plus, you have quite a bit of computer equipment. I don't know how much heat it actually puts off, but it
Yeah.
does put off some. So that could contribute some as well. Maybe not
Okay.
100%, but it could contribute some. So
Makes sense. I didn't even think about
what
that.
I would recommend, and the solution I'm going to give you for here, if you want to consider it, is that you would have a duct come off of that unit where the plenum comes up
Yeah.
and come directly to this room and then let the other duct go directly to your room.
That'll help out a lot.
And then that way you're getting more air
That's a big
into this. So you would be able to get ducts directly
Let
to
me
there.
know price.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. That's number one, figured that out, or come up with that. Second is I went around and just measured all the airflow coming out of the vents. You've got a 3-ton system.
That was put in 6 years ago.
You had it put in?
Yeah, before I moved in.
Before you moved in?
Yeah, because I was staying at Mom's house for a few nights.
Okay.
And it was previous people. They had someone, I don't think he was licensed, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because he was working somewhere else. He was coming here at Graveyard.
Yep.
He was working all night. And
To get it put in.
I was sleeping on my mom's couch.
Okay.
For a few nights before we moved in. This is 6-7 years ago. It was brand new put in.
Okay. So it looks like it's, according to the coil, I haven't looked at the outdoor unit for sure, but it looks like it's about a 3-ton system.
Okay.
And you should be getting, I'm going to use the term called buckets of air.
Okay.
Out of all the vents combined, you should be getting around, I would think it would be good if you get about 1,000 to 1,200 buckets of air.
Okay.
You're only getting about 8 to 850.
Okay.
So if you do the percentage on that,
I see.
you know,
it's working harder.
You're probably at about 70 to 80% efficient
Is that the ducts up there?
with your ductwork the way it is.
I see.
I'm not telling you to replace it.
No.
What's your electric bill though?
I don't know because I'm on flat bill.
What is that though?
149.
If you're flat rate at 149, you're going to have a hard time improving that.
It dropped. It was 159.
Okay.
And I just got a letter this month saying
Yeah.
you've been lowered.
And so you
$10.
Keep it on like 72, 70, 68.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll pay the bill, man.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's-
trying to. But you're
night,
keeping
at
it
night
low.
I drop it down. During the day, realistically, it depends how hot it is.
Yep.
71. Sometimes I put it up to 72.
Okay, got it.
At night, I'll drop that sucker down.
Mm-hmm.
After 10, I'll drop it down to 66.
Okay.
And 'cause I'm fat.
No, that's okay. I'm not contesting
Yeah.
that at all. I'm just trying to get a sense of
Yeah.
what you're trying to
realistically,
achieve. So in that respect, your electric bill's not bad
No.
at all.
Surprisingly, no.
So the money that you would invest in redoing your ducting, if you were to say, hey, I want to redo it, would be only for comfort. It would not be for
That's
energy
exactly
savings.
Because I
But I
think
have-
because I'm gassed during the winter and
Okay.
it switches.
I've got another one for you, though, that you might want to consider. Your attic up there right now, really, you've got a lot of shade, I think, here.
Yeah.
So your attic doesn't get as hot as it could.
Yeah.
If you ever cut any trees down, you're going to have a little trouble, maybe.
We only have this. The only tree I'm keeping that one.
Okay.
We had to cut that one down. Out
Yeah.
back.
So the other thing is you've got these gable vents. I checked the temperature up there. It's about 100 degrees,
Okay.
which isn't bad. But you've got these gable vents on either end.
Yeah.
And for not a lot of money, you could go to Lowe's and you could get an electrician to put you a circuit in on either end
Okay.
and get you a fan that pulls air in
One out the other.
and one that pushes
I
out.
never knew about that.
And just get some, you've got your eave vents,
Yeah.
right? That's, I mean, your roof vent
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah.
But just get air moving down through that attic across.
That makes sense.
And that'll help alleviate some of that heat that is building up in there.
Why is he recording? I'm just wondering.
He's videos all everything I do. Not everything
That's
I do.
cool though.
We got
But
like a YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube
and
channel.
all the social
I need
media.
to follow you, man.
Yeah. I need. What do we need? We need 351 subscribers instead of 350.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I heard about it, but I never looked for it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. So,
I like that. Yeah.
so we just need to move some air.
I think
It's
that's
just
a great
that's just
idea.
a small
that might be
idea.
something I can do probably.
Oh yeah. No, it's not
Yeah.
because
that
you've
might be
got
something-
the vents in either side.
Yeah.
You just need to get the fans.
do it at graveyard. Do it at night.
Yeah. Do it at night,
Yeah.
and you can get Wes to crawl up in there for you.
Trust. That's what I'm going to do. That's what he does. Throw him a bone.
Throw him under the bus.
Love you, Wes. But you know
All
it's
right.
true. Yeah. That,
So-
I'm glad I just caught that.
Yeah, and that's something if you want to do, you could do that
That's
yourself
easy to
too.
fix,
So you
yeah.
just got to pop these screws out.
Yeah,
I can
that's
get that
easy to
piece
fix.
for you. You can put it in there. The other thing I was checking was just the blood pressure of your system, and it's
Okay.
actually relatively good. It's
Okay.
not way out of whack, as near as I can tell. I think your biggest issues are, I think you're right, this was kind of hacked in here a little bit. If you
Yeah.
stick your hand up in here,
You can feel
you can feel a little bit of cool air losing a little bit here. Whoops, I just need you fix it now. But you can, if you stick your hand up there, you can feel a little bit of cool air leaking.
Yeah.
This right here was measuring the temperature across the unit,
Okay.
and you're getting about, at right here, we're getting about 20 degree, well, about 18 to 20 degrees of difference. So from the return
Wow.
to the supply. When we measure to the return, from the return here
There.
to a vent, the best we're getting on this end is about 16 to 18 degrees, and down that room there, we're only getting 13 to 14.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of temperature drop
Yeah,
when the duct,
yeah.
when it gets in the ductwork and leaks out.
Goes out.
So you could have a little leakage in there, you know,
Okay.
dissipating. Maybe it's not insulated as well as it should be.
That makes sense.
So-
Okay.
Not telling you have a bad system.
Yeah, yeah. No.
By any
I'm-
means.
I'm on your page.
There's probably
on
some
your
things
page.
that you could do to improve it. The question always is, what are you going to do with this home long term?
Yeah.
Are you going to be here
Well,
for the next 20
I'm-
years?
I'm definitely thinking about moving within the
Okay.
next couple of years.
Are you going to
Me
keep
and
the
my son-
house or sell it?
That's discussion.
Keep it for rental. It's
Yeah.
a perfect rental house.
It's definitely in discussion. So I mean, we got several other homes out here that are doing the same thing.
Okay. All right.
So definitely
Perfect.
things in but we've been here. Wes was in 7th grade, 8th or 9th grade.
Oh, really?
What
Oh, wow.
grade were you in, Wes? Starting 9th.
Got
He
it.
graduated 2 years ago, so 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I like the yard the most.
Well, yeah, it's a nice place. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good location. Nothing
So,
wrong with the location.
yeah,
So I'm going to put a proposal together for you
Please
to,
do.
to do
Please
that,
do.
fix that vent.
I think
And,
that's one thing I want to move forward with.
I'll also I'll try to put together a report of everything.
Let's talk. Is he still recording?
Can
you
yeah,
pause it
he
real
can pause
quick?
it. Go ahead.
I don't know if you.
Originally, they were going to hook everything up to a control panel.
And you'd have it all off
Yeah.
of one controller, probably.
Changed, didn't ask me or nothing. They changed
just
their
didn't
mind
do
and
it.
said no. All the wires from every unit goes to a wall that's in the kitchen.
Okay.
And of course we sheetrock
right.
sealed it over.
So we can go across
to the
over
rest
here
of
now.
the units, yes, walkway.
Yep. Very nice
Pretty
access.
much walk just about anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a very nice
This
access.
is probably unit 2, which is dining room, living room, kitchen.
Okay, unit 2, dining room, living room, and kitchen.
And see, he's got 5E
Yeah, I see.
on
Put
that.
5E on there.
Of course, this is the energy recovery unit. I don't know why they put it on top of the unit. They could have moved it down. And, you know, it's not really in the way, but kind of sort of is if
is
you're
in the
trying
way.
to get to that unit. And like I say, see this got me thinking.
Yeah, those are
It's supposed
where
to
you
be
hook
hung.
the.
Yeah.
That's where you hook the
And-
all thread
and
in.
according to someone, they're supposed to be suspended because the way you get to the coil is from underneath.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm gonna walk across
Zone
to this
3,
one.
you can get all the way to it. I'm not going to crawl
That's all right.
over there, but that's master bedroom, master bath, TV room.
Okay.
And
Watch your step,
probably
Rio.
on the side there.
Actually, hold on. Let's go across. Make sure you step. Don't step on the end, because those are
I
not
don't know
fast.
where
Oh, the model numbers.
side
It's on this side over here.
It's on the other side.
Yep. That is right. All right, this is the master bedroom zone. This is the one that seems to be working
It's working a little bit.
a little bit. So this is the master bedroom zone, and this is the one that is working a little bit.
Well,
at
it's
the
putting
moment.
out 70-something degree air where everything else
It's labeled
is putting out-
3C.
Actually, first thing in the morning when it's cooler, it was putting out 68 degree air
Okay.
at the vent, closest vent to the machine, to the air handler.
Okay. Got it.
I've always thought that they oversized the duct.
It's possible
Because I mean, this is duct work that you would see not much bigger for one air handler up here. You know, maybe a 14 or 16.
It's difficult to oversize ductwork. On mini splits, you should be careful because you don't build much static pressure at all.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Look at the size of the air handler compared to a conventional.
Right. So you
I
could.
mean, that was my argument. I don't know if it was an argument or not, but that was my thought.
I understand. You could maybe oversize it. I ran about this size of ductwork on a unit one time. The biggest problem I had with it was that it seemed like it was in a crawl space, and it seemed like it had a tendency to sweat more than what normal.
I haven't noticed any.
But you're inside of this, this space.
Supposedly, and I don't think I've ever checked it, in the summertime, this is only supposed to be about 10 degrees different than the high.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you check that stud right now, what's it reading?
88, and it's probably 86, 87 downstairs. So,
yeah.
I don't know, the higher you get, 91.
I would guess downstairs to be about 82.
I had checked it, but I don't remember. And late in the afternoon, of course, it gets warmer and warmer.
So that's the 3 up here.
That's the TVs that I hardwired now work fine.
Really? They didn't work good. Man.
And all I did is put one wire from because the bonus room was the office, so that's where the modem is.
Got it.
Put one wire to the basement and put a splitter on it. Then from the basement, I can get to anywhere in the house. Just
okay.
to the floor.
Yep. That's true. 5.
And I should have known better. I was in the cell phone business for 50 years, but I wasn't on that end of it.
Yes, sir.
Can you make it?
Yep.
I should probably secure that ladder to the wall just I see that.
I would actually be more concerned about securing that plywood than the ladder. Because if you get right there to the edge, it'll...
It's laying on wire and stuff, so...
Oh, yeah.
I tried to get my builder put a lot of this in.
Yeah.
But he put it in after the wiring, and I told the electrician, I said, make me a path.
Yeah.
Which they come in, and I wasn't here, and they ran the wire wherever they wanted.
I see what he did. He labeled this 5 port cover, 3 port cover. So this is 5 and this is 3. So 5.
Well, if you can figure it out.
5D. Okay.
I know they had to put 2 distribution because 1 wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It only did 5, I think, and it needed 6, which I can't really figure out. I don't know how many I got.
Branch box, that's what they call these.
Box. There you
Yep,
go.
it says it right here.
And then you got a main feed in, and then they connect.
Alright. There we go. Froze out or something. Maybe. Alright. Grab the camera. This poor little camera has been all over the place. Alright. Let's turn on a light. There we go. And you can kind of see what we're doing here. Maybe. So what we're doing here is we've got water in the drain pan. You can see. And then over here, you can't see this as well, but there's a float switch right there. You can hear the unit try to turn on. Everything starts up. I do that. But we got to get rid of this water because it's causing havoc. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pump right here. So you can see that. Okay. Now we're going to stick our hose down this drain line here. Hopefully it'll pump out. Get rid of most of the water. Yep. So that line.
Why you say that?
Oh, okay. Like it's very neat. Oh, I guess wrong with it. Quite cool. It don't need fingernail apart, either finger or thumb.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it all out through the drain line here.
His hand like this. Ain't no doing it. I never went with that. I'm not going to go.
There we go.
Right before we started going.
I might be able to do that. Yeah, that spot on my hands from where I had to get stitches after mountain biking. I have a scar on my knee.
Pumping it out.
The same week I broke this wrist, I tried to jump on top of a brick wall, but my knee didn't quite clear the wall. My knee went straight into the corner of it.
If it's going to go wrong, we got to get this little firewood, his brother's truck. Not a nail on the truck. It takes a long, tries to suck it right into the side of the bed. We won't get now, I think. And when you pop out, you couldn't take it, pop out, it didn't work for you. Just put it back in the hard back. It brings in 10 drive. Right. That's not the thing that brings in 10 drive.
It's not real fast, but it just gets the job done.
Like 1 minute later, get it again. Like a couple of spots there.
I can't say anything though. I had some tires I was cutting in the bed of my truck, and I put them on my chest, and then I rolled them up the side of the bed and threw them in. I've done it plenty of times with my GMC and never had a
Trying
problem.
to figure out if it.
I did it with a Ram. I had 4 spots on the bed that I caved in, one from each side. On each side. I was like, really?
Let's see.
And you know the plastic bed rails on the Rams? The paint cracked under that.
It definitely isn't draining very fast.
There's some Honda dark gray paint on a silver Ram out there somewhere. We just used dark gray because it's what we had in touch-up paint.
It's not working.
No, not a part of it.
All right, Rio, hand me my vacuum.
Your what?
My vacuum.
Okay.
We're gonna have to try to do what we did the other day. Figure out a way to pass it up to me
Yeah.
from where you're at, and then I'm gonna pass it up to me. All right.
Let me find this way.
Here, hang on a second. Let me come down just a little bit. Okay, now pass it up to me.
That's a picture.
Alright, now I'm going to fill this thing up and then I'm going to let you go dump it. You're going to have to grab it. It's going to be fun. That fast it's full. Okay. Oh, shucks. Watch out, watch out, watch out. That's what I was hoping to avoid. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, come on.
Got it.
There's all these stupid wires up here. Got it? Yep. Oops. I go dump it outside and then bring it back in. Try to have this wire out of the way by the time we come back. Maybe it'll go easier. Not exactly a picnic here today. Backing this thing out. Right here, up in this tight spot. There's wires running all across here. It'd be a mess. It'd be a mess. At least, because they stick them up in here. Let's see if this thing's picking up. They stick them up in here in these tight spots, and you have to, per se, try to get in here and see if I can move my light a little bit. Yeah, so they stick them up in there in these tight spots, and you have to try to get up in here. So I've got my ladder leaning up against this wall right here. Rio's coming. Come on. I'm ready. Clip my mic right there. All right. Okay. This time we're going to try to keep that hose from unclipping on us. Okay. All right, now. Got it? I still got my hand on it. Yeah. There you go. See if I can move that camera so I can see a little better what's going on. The joys of summertime. Oh, baby. Now you can hear this pipe right here. You can't quite see it, but you can hear it gurgling inside of there. That pipe right there. I've cut it right here. Cut it right there. So I've got it cut here and there. I'm just keeping this turned up. The float switch has actually come down enough that the system has re-engaged, and so we're able to probably see what's going on a little better with the system. And let's see here, Rio's bringing us the vacuum again. All right, hang on, Rio. Oh, lovely. There we go. Back where it needs to be. Okay, bring it on up. Okay. There are other tools out there in the marketplace to do this easier, but I haven't purchased them yet. Okay, so we're still doing the old vacuum it out, carry it out method, and it works. It's not the best, but it works. Right below me here, this is kind of stuff you don't think about when you put machines in, but right below me is some sort of machine that's very sophisticated, some sort of locker system, I think, and I don't think water should drip on that, but here we have something that could drip all kinds of water on it, sitting right next to it, or right above it. In this case, we did have a float switch, or they have a float switch in place that will turn off the system, so that's good. But still could have problems, even because it fills up with water. Sure glad I have Rio with me today. My goodness, this would be a job, not an easy one. Not as difficult as might be done to either, but it's not an easy one. Okay.
Does this blind you?
So what?
Does this blind you, or is it okay? The light.
No, it doesn't blind me at all. No, we're good. Alright, I'm fixing to drip some water, I think.
Spider monkey. Spider monkey. And watch out. Beers on them?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to walk there. Tuesday night beers? Afterwards?
They're not.
You live which area do you live in? But I don't want you staying that late just for me. We'll figure it out. Video war each other. Yeah, let's just have some water. Downstairs is set at 69, and it is 69 downstairs.
We'll find out.
Y'all want some to drink or anything?
What's that?
Yeah, want some to drink or anything?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
Thank you, though. Oh, yeah, right here. Yep. We got them all coming into the sink. Check that out. Oh my word. Go get my vacuum. Let's go get my vacuum cleaner and put it on this other one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely what we did.
You want to explain right quick?
Yeah, so on this job here, the drain lines look like they came out right there and right there. But they actually, if I looked up in the attic up there, they're been cut and they run diagonally here and they run all into this one sink right over here. Right inside of here. They brought them all down. I think that's right. Let me make sure. Let me look here and see. See? Yeah. See, it's coming down. It's coming down that wall right there. Comes through here. It's been drilled. All the drains are coming to this one sink right here. Probably somebody who worked here at some point thought it would be a great idea because then they could service them easily when they have trouble. That's probably true. this the other unit, not the one I was working on. It's a different unit. So that one had a whole bunch of water built up in it. From somewhere. So let's vacuum on this other one. Here, let's see. Junk out of them. So I thought they were supposed to be coming down that other place, but they're actually coming into here. So craziness. Look at all this is what comes out of drains. Right there's junk like that. Builds up in the inside of the drain. Nastiness. We call that elephant snot. All right. Now let's go get the rest of our tools up.
So you fixed the pump?
I think so, yeah. The main problem was the drain line was clogged. And then it was causing in the pan there's a wet switch, and that wet switch was lifting up and turning off power to everything. And then as soon as I got the pan cleaned out, then that wet switch came down, but we still had a clog in the drain. So there was, the first problem was the drain pan's full of water, and the float switch is engaged, or disengaged, however you want to say it. And then once I get all the water out, the unit will run, but it still don't drain properly. So once I got the drain working, now we're good.